Callum, every now and then a game comes up on... I see a trailer for a game that basically immediately sells me on it, and then I actually play it, and it's possibly and it lives up and surpasses the trailer. It's very rare. And this is one of the games where this is one of those games this might be one of the best things I've played this year. Just to be very clear,
fair. Yeah.
I finished it. I didn't check my Steam time before I got in here, but this game is excellent. So this is Paradise Killer. This is on Steam and Switch, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to just start a new investigation.
This won't fuck with your save, will it?
It doesn't matter. Like I'm finished.
Okay.
Also, there are
you're done with it. Okay.
There are 3 save slots, so the first time I save, it will be I'll save to the third one if I ever. So the important thing here is also like there's no autosave. Like this is a go to a save point and save game.
Sure.
It has not been a problem, but they really double down on that. So I might spark notes some of the intro here because there's some conceptual stuff that you kind of need to get.
Dead alien gods.
Yeah. So the Syndicate are Syndicate are a group that create these islands to worship gods. They're all called Paradise Islands. They attempt to resurrect the gods by forcing citizens into psychic worship rituals. However, the worship invites demonic eruption from beyond the stars. The islands have always failed. The islands die and they try again, and then the cycle repeats. That's the kind of the setup for the whole thing. There are a lot of words in here. It's one of the things that I really kind of enjoy about it, is that they never do the thing where they go, oh, you have amnesia, I now need to explain the entire state of the world to you. Like, everyone in this world
the god is called Damned Harmony.
The names in this game are incredible, just to say. So, Lady Love Dies is the character you play. She's the lead investigator of Syndicate. She's deceived by a god and then exiled because she endangered paradise. And then the island died. The citizen slaughter took place. They created our island. She's been watching in exile for a long time as each island comes up and dies. Island 24 was almost perfect. Then a citizen got too close to the gods, allowed that demons to flood the island. The citizens were again slaughtered. They created Island 25, but before they complete it, Paradise was killed. So that's the setup. And again, the thing to take into this when you're going in is they will tell you a lot of stuff that they expect you to know, and you will by relatively quickly start to understand it all, but you kind of just have to let it wash over you until they explain it, or it's explained diegetically, which is actually a really good thing.
It's a lot of learning through context.
Yes, a lot of learning through context. A lot of like proper nouns of stuff that you won't know what they're talking about, and it's occasionally difficult to know whether the thing you're talking about is a proper noun or a name, which is a new problem that I've never seen before.
I mean, that's just a side street in Tokyo somewhere.
Yep. So this also comes up. I won't say too much about this, but
that's weird. Why are they drawing boxes around people?
This is just stylistic. There's going to be a lot of questions you're going to answer about this question.
Really
They're just stylistic. Conversation about these two appear every now and then. So this is Island 25. So this is the new island that's just been created. So there's like a time jump that happens here. So we're back on Island 24. So this is Lady Love Dies. She's the chief investigator for the Syndicate. Island 24's. So the time here is Island 24 is supposed to be ending and everyone moving to Island 25, and Island 24 is still here when she's woken up, and that's wrong. So something's up, right? So look at this fucking game. Like, I'm not gonna. There's gonna be a lot of that.
Okay. Is it? I don't know if this is how we're recording this or if this is the game, but it's really like blurry when you move around.
There's a lot of motion blur. There's an option to turn it off.
Oh, that's awful.
It's probably worse actually because of the way we're recording this, but it's not as bad in the actual game. I might actually just very quickly switch it off just to. Oh, is it display? Like motion blur. That's it at 10, by the way.
Jesus. Okay.
I might turn it down and see if it's any better. Or whether we just need to switch it off completely. Is that any better?
No, that's awful. That's so terrible.
Okay, let's turn it all the way off and see if that's actually a thing. It very much might be just the way we're recording this, but...
Maybe, but like... If I can see it, then it means the people at home can see it as well.
I'll
That's
just
slightly better, I guess.
Okay, I'll just not turn very quickly because. So the other thing is, I spent a lot of this game just like wandering at this speed, just looking around at all of the stuff that's there.
It's got some style. That's
yeah. So.
Oh god, it's doing the Persona thing.
Yeah, and like so every time you pick up an item or like something new is introduced, you get like a full-on title card. All of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been exiled for just over 3 million days. Portrait of me, and then we're gonna go talk to this fucker.
What is that?
Well,
that's a person? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is, well, I don't know if they're going to say his name here, but so this is a large chunk of it. There's a lot of dialogue, basically, and it doesn't seem. The problem with finishing this game is it's hard to know what to talk about and what to talk about. But like, a thing to know going in is that there's no like dialogue trees is probably the wrong description of this game. Like, you should never be scared about asking every question available to you. Is probably an important thing to.
Jigath.
Yeah, they call him Shinji.
Okay.
So yeah, Sunday's made a move against the Syndicate. He also likes a good bit of murder. That's the thing. Also, just look at the design of this character. Like,
it's the fact that he's blurring out the hands at the top because they're quite clearly middle fingers.
So the other thing.
Oh,
and he just explodes and leaves.
Okay, cool.
So the other thing, there's a option in the menu for mature content, which is off by default. So I turned it back on at the start of the game. I'm not entirely sure what that switches off. Just FYI.
You're not sure what counts as mature content?
I couldn't tell you. Like, there's not a lot of like explicit gore or nudity or anything like that. There's some language maybe, but like that's kind of it.
Does it unblur his fingers?
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
that's just part of his character design. That's just part of his character design. So yeah, like, this game is a fucking look, right? Like, I've described it. Yeah, I described it in the podcast as like vaporwave gone crazy, and like there's just like marble and skulls and like really graphic imagery.
It's like JRPG vaporwave. It's really weird.
Yeah, kind of. So this is a UK game.
Okay.
When I finally saw the credits, it is like maybe.
What is the point of you picking these items up? Like, what do they do?
No idea. Relics on their own are basically just collectibles, as far as I can tell. They give like a little bit of background. They give a little bit of maybe background or some interesting story bits, but like they don't actually affect the game in any way. Yeah, the game's done by like maybe 4 or 5 people. Like, most of it is a team of 2, but there's art and music obviously done by other people. But it's a really small team, and when you see what the game actually is, it's super impressive what they've managed to pull off. Like, in a really good, all of this stuff as well, like real, like, yeah, all of their computer stuff is also great.
Oh god.
Right.
Ancient Nightmare technology emulator.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say things that I see on screen because I don't know what the fuck I'm actually looking at.
Kind of,
so.
yes. So Starlight's your laptop, your crime-solving laptop.
Your crime-solving laptop.
Basically, yeah.
It's a many-faced judge. I've played this video game before.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen the rest of their character design yet, so we'll see in a second.
Leader Montserrat.
So Leader Montserrat is the head of the Syndicate. He's dead. The rest of the council are dead. Somebody has gone and murdered the entire council. After Island 25 has been created, but before people have moved there. So somebody's gone and murdered the entire council, so the entire island is now in lockdown, basically, until you can figure out who murdered the council. I'm going to skip some of this, just to see. Okay. Also, the voice acting is really good. They do the thing from a lot of JRPGs that is like, we're only going to voice like, we have like 50 voice lines that we're going to use to kind of indicate the tone of the sentence that's being said.
Yeah.
As opposed to
they like make the noise at the start of the sentence, and then it's how Danganronpa worked.
Yeah, kind of. I get a lot of Danganronpa Persona vibes from this. There's definitely an inspiration there for sure. So this is the hacking interface. Hacking is probably the wrong word. It's like the unlocking mechanism where this was, I mean, on top of everything you've seen so far, this is the first indication of like, oh, they're just going for it, right? So like, we have these groups here, which we haven't unlocked yet, but the goat group. So I basically need to form that picture from these silhouettes. So it's like that and that. These get much more complicated and have much more categories in them. But it really works contextually to all of the other imagery that you find on the island and how everyone talks about stuff. And it seems really random, but it actually coheres together really, really well. Also, are you ready for the greatest late title card in a game this year so far? So
I mean, sure.
So this is the island. Like
that's the island that's gonna get eaten by demons.
This is island 24. Yes, this is the one that they are about to leave.
Why are there tomatoes on the top of that building? Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Also the music.
That music's real fucking good.
Yeah.
This is like real like 80s Japanese chill beach
vibes. Next track, previous track is mapped to left and right on the D-pad. It's just
cool.
Real good.
It's pretty good.
So we're not going to go too far into this because obviously I don't want to spoil a lot, but this game is open world, like in the greatest sense of the word, where like, well, I'll show you when I get to the island, right? So there's stuff I can't even talk about. Okay, right. So this is Lydia. She is the
Daybreak.
Yep. So everyone, they describe.
So wait, so she's been in exile, but all she has to do is jump off the side of a building. Like, well,
no, because those barriers were there, right? She couldn't open the barriers because they switched off Starlight, or they disabled Starlight. So she's the ferry woman, so she's responsible for getting everyone from island to island.
Charon.
But they're not dead, but they're just moving from island to island. Yeah. But yeah, except she does it in this dope car, which is great.
So she needs to turn on a bridge, I guess.
Yeah. So, that bit is unclear, let's say, about how she actually does it. But she also becomes your fast travel system in the game, where you call her and she can take you anywhere on the island. Also, all of the characters in this are mentioned that they're born in places that we would understand. Like they say, Lydia's born in Kenya, in a state that doesn't understand. So there is a tie definitely to our world.
So you doing the classic Phoenix Wright point.
Totally, you can just straight up go "Hey, did you do this?" Oh, no. Nah.
So that's my favorite method of investigation as a killer is walking up to people and going, "Did you do it? Did you do it?"
Hey, guess what? Guess how every conversation opens with every character on this island is "Hey,
going,
I immediately need to know, did you do it? And what's your alibi?" That's your setup basically for most of this. And then there's a lot of these ones are basically.
What the fuck is going on in that background?
You're traveling. This is how she travels.
Are you?
Yeah. You get in the car, and this is how she gets you around the island, right? I'm not going through a lot of this dialogue because it's better to actually read it and kind of get a taste of what it is. But I want to go on the island just to show you what we're dealing with here. So cool. So this is the courthouse. This is where the game starts and ends, basically.
Oh my god.
Where, and then this is the judge, where we're going to talk to the judge.
Hello, Judge.
So, just very quickly, let's get past this. This is the judge.
Whoa.
Like I said, everyone gets a title card, with a bunch of stuff on them.
That's judge.
That's judge. Judge has had all of their ego and emotions removed to be the most impartial arbiter of law that exists.
And they look like they're gripping onto some sort of polyhedron, or is that just their dress?
That's part of their dress. There's also wires coming out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically the setup. So it's also on top of there being somebody who's killed the entire council. The council were killed in a locked room, which has been sealed by 4 gates that only the council can open. Or
it's your classic locked box murder.
Totally.
That is in every sort of murder investigation.
So the council are protected by 4 holy seals. Only our leaders can open them. So they haven't even got into the actual crime scene yet. They just know that the council have not emerged from the point where they're supposed to generate the next island.
So wait, how do they know that they're dead?
Because
then?
they haven't arrived. They haven't come out. Like, the island's been created, but the council have not emerged.
This is a Schrodinger's cat thing. Is that you don't know that they're dead?
Hey, if no one's been in the crime scene, how do you know if the council are dead?
There you go. Yeah.
Their work is done. A new island's been born, yet they've not emerged from their chambers. The accused was also found with a red slick knife and a belly full of the blood of the council members.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
There's a probably good bet there that the council members have been killed.
Yeah, sure.
So there's obviously no...
I mean, but this is murder investigation. You shouldn't assume shit.
Totally.
Like,
I mean, she will get to that very quickly. Like, we have no idea who it is. So the other important part of the start of this is that they have somebody... Like they said, they found somebody with a bloody knife, with a bunch of blood from the council members in their stomach, and it's a citizen. So it's not one of the Syndicate, it's a member of the citizen that they sacrificed to generate power.
I remember you talked about this on the podcast. The citizens are like normal humans.
They are human beings
from our world.
Yes, they have kidnapped a bunch of humans that they then use to work on this island and then sacrifice them all to generate power to generate the next island. But the problem with the islands is that them generating power attracts demons, and they haven't worked out a way to stop the demons from just taking over the entire island as they produce power. It's actually close to Doom in a weird way. Like,
oh yeah, like power from demons. Yeah,
power from hell that then infects them.
Argus energy.
So, yeah. So I'm just going to quickly get past some of this. So we have a blood sample from the person who they think did it, who they caught quite literally red-handed. So the kind of the flow of the game basically is from the point on here, after they give you all these details, which I'm just going to very quickly go through. You go out and investigate. You go talk to everyone else on the island. You start pulling together threads.
What's that golden head?
So this,
what is that?
This is her gun, and this is how she executes justice.
Her gun is a head?
No, it's just like a lot of the items and stuff you pick up are like abstractions of what the item actually is.
Right. Okay.
Again.
So they don't have models, is what you're saying? Okay.
Not really here. So from this point on, basically, you can just go wherever the fuck you want. So there's an AR mode that you can hold down, which basically shows you where everyone is. If they have an exclamation mark, it means they have something new to say, basically. It will also highlight these phones, which are your save points. Save points need to be unlocked. Sorry, no, you can save them at any point, but fast travel needs unlocked. So you spend a blood crystal, which is the currency you pick up, to unlock the point, and then another blood crystal to actually use it to travel. If I very quickly go in here, so this is the Starlight. This is Starlight. It's named, and this is how you organize your case, basically. So notes are your, hey, here's a bunch of questions I don't have answers to yet, or like stuff I need to go do. So here's basically
Crimson Acid.
Yep.
What the
Yuri
fuck?
Knight, Lydia and Sam Daybreak. Witness to the End is the name, who I couldn't remember on the podcast, who is great. Grand Marshal Akiko 14, Carmelina Silence, Dr. Doom Jazz.
This game. If you told me this game had been written by Austin Walker, I would have believed you.
Yep.
With these names, like.
KHX.
Henry Division is such a good name.
Yep. So Henry Division's the citizen who they think basically caught red-handed. Dr. Doom Jazz is the head doctor of the island, and is
his name's not KHX is missing. His name is KHX, and he is missing.
He is currently missing. Okay. That is a separate thread of investigation that you need to go down.
Oh my god, I can't tell. All right,
Dr. Doom Jazz.
Sorry, Dr. Doom Jazz.
He is the head medic of the Syndicate, head medical officer of the Syndicate, and is also voiced by the most natural Scottish accent you will actually hear in games probably this year. He's brilliant. I'll see if I can go find him very quickly, because I think he's pretty close. So you've got all your notes, which are basically your...
I'm going to quickly Google this and see if he was actually voiced by a Scotsman.
They must have been. There's no way somebody can pull that accent off in a way that makes sense. So notes are your potential leads, basically. Like, these are things that you should probably go do. There are case files, which are like, hey, every person you know about so far, what is their motive, what is their alibi, and what discredits their alibi. And then the actual crimes are all of the current crimes that you know about. So the two crimes are, hey, the council was murdered, and KHX is missing. Those are the two crimes you know about. This will expand as you investigate. Inventory is your inventory. Like, key items and upgrades are really the important bits. Population, this is like everyone that you know about on the island. So there's all the members of the council with names like Lunatic Pope and Eyes Kiwami and Pandora 2, which are also great. All the different members of the Syndicate we know about, and then various citizens and things. There's a timeline which goes from like man's prehistory all up to midnight last night. And then this is the sequence of events that we know about so far, about what happened during the murder, and that again gets filled in as you investigate. Here's a map of the island, which is generally useful to.
It's really got that like CRT neon pink look to everything.
And then all of this is also pixelated in an interesting way. So this is also how you would. The fast travel is basically you can move to these areas, and then the individual phone booths inside those areas. Skins is literally just skins for Paradise. You just unlock them as the game goes on, and it's cool. And then here's all the music you have so far, which has like, you can edit the playlist, restart the playlist, put it on random, and then the other cool diegetic thing is that, see these speakers? These are actually the things that are outputting music. So
so it changes how close you are.
Just purely for environmental reasons, I recommend you leave that on. You can make all your music just come out of Starlight, which means it just always plays all the time. But it's good to have it in particular areas of the island, and it kind of fades in and fades out and does all this kind of stuff. So as of this point, this game is basically an open world. So you can basically go anywhere at this point to start investigating. Blood crystals are the currency of the island, and you just need to kind of grab them from everywhere. There are these towers which have tapes in them. Every tape unlocks a new bit of music, which is awesome. And then, like I said,
nice.
left and right on D-pad will like change. Have I unlocked my favourite one? No, you don't start with it, but there's a track in there that's possibly one of my favourites I've played so far. There's a lot of stuff in here that like I said, you just kind of need to go with.
Go talk to the Scottish doctor.
Okay, where's Dr. Doom Jazz? He is on the docks down here. He's 130 miles away. Also, just like, this is not spoiler stuff. This is just stuff to make your game that you might miss or not understand that just ruins the experience of the game. There is no fall damage in this game at all. So you can just jump off of shit.
Just do this.
Yeah. So like, you do this. So you don't. Oh, I'm not gonna hit the water. Shit. Okay. You die in water. It's the only thing.
Okay.
But it will respawn you at the nearest phone booth, which is fine.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So this is Dr. Doom Jazz and his yacht. This is Dr. Doom Jazz.
He works out of a yacht.
Yep. Hey, Doctor Syndicate.
Lady Love dies.
So I can tell you interesting fact about this. So Dr. Doom Jazz is voiced by a guy called Barry Topping, who is one of the two hosts of a podcast called Two Good Boys, which is a fucking nightmare podcast. But he also did the soundtrack. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He is very good. He is excellent.
Okay.
But
good to know. I did see that name come up in the credits, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But they didn't say like who played who. But I know they did the music, and that makes sense.
So Barry Topping voices this guy and does the music, and he is very Scottish. Okay. So yes.
Good.
Favorite investigator.
Yeah. He's
you don't talk like that without a Scottish accent.
No, it's impossible. Like, you need to really study it to be able to pull that off.
You'd have to work so hard to do that.
Yeah.
I'm a professional.
So again, this is a UK team. There's a lot of Lady Love Dies and Doom Jazz, I think, are the only like British accents in the game. I think.
This is bad.
I have no idea about the actual voice actors themselves, but the nobody else is in the story of the game. Nobody else is born in the UK. Let's say.
Also, did they say that he was born in Cannon Fortress?
Cannon Fortress, Scotland, which I
that has to be Edinburgh.
That has to be Edinburgh, I assume.
Yeah. There's very few Cannon Fortresses in Scotland.
Yeah. So this is kind of the main interaction with the characters. You have case files and you have Hangout. So case files is like, hey, here's all of the questions I have so far. They're usually grouped around the cases you have currently. So you're like, hey, do you think that the citizen they have actually did it? So he's made a report, and a lot of them will be like, and again, to be clear, like, you should talk to everyone about everything. As far as I can tell, there's no cul-de-sacs. Like, there's no way you can, like, piss somebody off and they won't talk to you anymore.
It's a visual novel, like, you need
kind of, yeah, to be very clear. But again, if you're coming at this from, like, investigation games, that is a thing that you might have to think about, right? But in this game, like, no. Just, like, talk to everyone, ask everyone everything. A lot of people might just go, like, why would I know anything about that? You should go talk to somebody else. So again, everyone, you'll be like, hey, where were you? So he was in his clinic. He was found outside the council. They found Henry outside the council building. There's blood everywhere. Checked him over, and then it'll say, "Okay, cool. You have a new note. That is a good thing to know."
That's your testimony, yeah.
Yep. So you have a new note because he said that. So he said, like, "Hey, here's what he said. You should be able to go confirm
and I'm
this."
guessing this is similar to like a Phoenix Wright or a Danganronpa, where it's like you can now bring that up in other people's.
It will come up with other people's things, and also like now that he said that, he now has an alibi, and this was his alibi. So
and then you've got alibi breakers that are
which will then discredit their alibis. Yeah.
So right, before we wrap this up, because you didn't make this clear at the time, but you said this on the podcast of like at any point you can just go back and start.
So that was
accusing people, right?
Fell in the water. So I didn't do it at the start, but basically, if you immediately talk to the judge after they give you your first like, hey, go do your job, you can immediately go, okay, call everyone in, let's start the trials. Like, with zero evidence, zero, like, investigation, nothing.
I wonder how that goes.
I am fascinated to know. I may actually do it and see what happens. So just as a level of, like, there's a lot of... Not all of it comes out of conversations. A lot of it goes actually through investigating the island. So, like, so he said, hey, I was in my clinic the whole night. And then they called me to come look at the person they think is the murderer, and I went and investigate him, that's fine. But then you go to his... This other door, which looks kind of fucked up. This is the back door to Doom Jazz's clinic. This should be covered by Syndicate logs, but the door's broken, which means it won't actually log who comes in and out. So why would Doom Jazz actually have this, and why is it not reported that it's been fixed? So then very quickly, oops, wrong menu, in here, that is now an alibi breaker, because he said, hey, I was in my clinic all night, but you've got a back door that doesn't log when you come in and out, so we can't actually verify that. So that's the kind of level of stuff you're doing. So a lot of it is go talk to everyone, go physically investigate various scenes. So if I bring up the AR thing, where is it? That one there is actually that's the crime scene. So that would, I would say that's probably a good place to go start. I'll just take this elevator very quickly. So like even this level of stylistic, right? So this is me taking an elevator, right? Where it will then go and...
Oh.
There we go.
Very good. Very good.
It's excellent. So like, and this is not even the most interesting visually part of the game. This is literally just the Syndicate HQ, which has a bunch of stuff in it. Like, there's a whole other... I can probably see it from up here, actually. There's a whole other section. Look at the sky and everything. Like, it's just... This game looks fucking amazing. And they do a really good job with it being a small team of, like, intelligently reusing assets. So, like these AC units, for instance... They are everywhere, but they're in ways that make sense, and like it doesn't seem like they're just padding out areas. So like the amount of detail in this island is kind of staggering for a four-person team. Like it's kind of incredible, all of the stuff that's there, and it's also like a pretty big island. Like I got like 4 hours in, and then finally found my way to the other side of the island for a whole other 2 areas I hadn't even seen yet because I'd spent so much time here. Yeah, so. That's Paradise Killer. This game is easily one of the best things I've played this year. It's well worth going through and actually seeing. I really want you to finish it because I want to talk to you about how it ends, and I will say no more than that because it would make zero sense to you if I actually just start asking you questions. It's out on Switch and Steam at the minute. I think it's 15. It's around 15 and 20, somewhere around there. It's 100% worth that money. It looks great, it sounds great, the dialogue's really super good. There are some real curveballs that happen during this that I would love to get into but can't. This game is excellent and people should play it. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Jim.